Think about the buildings around you, the ones that form the backdrop of your daily life.
Yeah.
They're more than just structures. They're like silent storytellers, whispering tales of the people who dreamed them up. Today, we're plunging into the architectural heart of Arad, a city, well, brimming with a history etched in brick and stone, just waiting for us to explore.
Precisely. And our mission, in this deep dive is really to uncover the remarkable visionaries who left their lasting imprint on Arad.
Okay.
Our source material, it really illuminates the key architects and their diverse contributions to the cityscape.
You see the whole range.
Oh, yeah. From majestic palaces and sacred churches to the practical beauty of residential buildings, even industrial structures.
And our guideposts in this architectural journey are like 3 central figures who truly defined Arad's look.
Szántay.
He seems key in the sources.
Yeah, his impact seems particularly significant. Then Tabaković, Milan, and Ziegler-Antal.
But we'll also, be sure to touch on other important names, like the Photo Reisinger firm.
Yes, that design and construction company. And the Steiners, Yosef and Jeno.
Halme Andor, Simerkenyi, Rudolf. They all added something.
Absolutely. They all wove their own threads into Arad's architectural narrative.
It's important, though, to set the scene first right.
Definitely. The late 19th, early 20th centuries, this was a period of tremendous growth and, well, ambition across the Krishana and Bana regions.
Okay, so areas seeing rapid development.
Exactly. Industrial, cultural, and Arad was right in the thick of it.
So the architecture reflects that energy.
Perfectly. The architectural dynamism of Arad, thanks to these giants we're discussing, it mirrors that whole era.
Okay, let's unpack this. Maybe starting with Ziegler and Al.
Good place to start.
The source calls him the German ancestor, which, well, it sparks curiosity immediately.
It does, doesn't it? As the first chief architect of Arad County back in the second half of the 19th century, he was genuinely laying the groundwork, the initial design principles for the city.
So he set the stage, in a way.
Indeed. And a real testament to his early influence is the old Orthodox Cathedral, the one in the Great Market Square. That was one of his notable designs.
Oh, yeah.
But what's particularly striking, I think, is that his birthplace, it's still standing.
Really?
On what's now the Avenue of the Revolution. And today, it serves as the rectorate of Vassal Goldia University.
Wow. So a direct line from his life to the present.
Exactly. A powerful, tangible connection between Arad's architectural origins and its current institutions. It really anchors history, like you said.
You're right. That kind of detail really makes it real.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's turn our attention to Szántay Lajos.
The big one, according to the sources.
Yeah, our source clearly positions him as the leading figure for Arad's most representative buildings. It highlights his exceptional talent, refined taste.
Education, training, the whole package.
He was clearly a master of his craft.
Absolutely. And his career, it reached its peak during Arad's most vibrant and prosperous years.
That timing matters.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how a period of economic flourishing can just ignite architectural ambition.
And foster a whole construction industry around it.
Precisely. Szántay was clearly the visionary architect, perfectly aligned with a city that was, really on the rise. A city eager to express its new status through impressive buildings.
And his contributions are definitely still prominent today. Let's begin with the Evangelical Lutheran Church, the Red Church.
The Red Church, yeah. Widely known by that name.
Because of the bricks, obviously.
Right. Those distinctive red bricks define its exterior. It was inaugurated back in 1906.
And Szántay, apparently he paid meticulous attention even to the interior design.
Yes, which was considered quite innovative for the time. It shows his comprehensive design philosophy.
Not just the outside shell.
Not at all. He aimed to create harmonious, thoughtfully detailed spaces inside as well. And just, a stone's throw away stands the Lutheran Palace.
Another Szántay design.
Another one. The source points out its simple, more functional style. And its facade, interestingly, addresses 3 different streets.
Oh, so quite adaptable.
Shows his adaptability across different architectural needs, definitely.
But it's the cultural palace that's presented as his real masterpiece, isn't it?
Undeniably. The Anniversary Almanac even said that this single building secured his enduring place in Arad's history.
That's a huge statement.
It is, and creating this palace, it wasn't easy. It was a significant undertaking.
The source described it almost like a quest.
Yeah, almost a Don Quixote-like endeavor for Szántay. But he wasn't alone.
He had support.
He did. Arad's intellectual community, especially key figures from the Cultural Society, they actively campaigned through the press.
Campaigned for the building itself.
Yes, for a representative building that could house the city's important cultural collections. It really highlights the strong civic pride, the value placed on culture back then.
It's amazing to see that kind of community involvement in cultural landmarks.
And getting it built involved multiple design competitions, national, international.
How many projects?
17 different projects were submitted. Szántay initially had some reservations about the proposed location.
But his idea won out.
His eventual proposal for a site nestled between the parks along the Mureș River, that was the one ultimately chosen.
And it took a while to build.
Took 3 years. It was finally inaugurated in October 1913. Lots of notable figures attended. A real moment of civic pride for Arad.
Now, the source compares it to the Cultural Palace in Târgu Mureș. How do they stack up?
It's a fascinating comparison. The Târgu Mureș Palace, designed by Comor Marcel and Jacob Desser, might be more widely recognized today.
Why is that?
Well, it's celebrated for its strong Hungarian secession style, that elegant style with flowing lines, natural motifs, and famous secession artists were involved.
Okay, so a very specific style. And Arad's.
Arad's palace is described as more cosmopolitan. It incorporates elements from different eras and places.
Look.
You see Renaissance touches, French Gothic, French Baroque, even Viennese Rococo across its different facades.
Wow, quite a mix.
It is. It perhaps reflects Arad's position as a more internationally connected city at the time. And the main artistic contributions mentioned are sculptures by Wróblewski Geza, rather than the big secession names from Târgu Mureș.
That use of different styles on different sides, that's actually quite clever.
Avoids monotony on such a large building, right? Adds visual interest.
And the main entrance, those big Corinthian pillars, must have made quite a statement.
Oh, definitely. And inside, it was a real cultural hub.
Housing what specifically?
Significant treasures, relics from the 1848-1849 revolution, the city's art collection, a substantial library.
So a center for intellectual life, too.
And cultural life. We can't overlook the concert hall.
What about it?
Renowned for its exceptional acoustics. International musicians praised it consistently over the years.
So musically important, too.
And the Arad Philharmonic Society, which has a long, distinguished history, performed there regularly. It cemented the palace's role as a vital arts center.
Beyond this monumental cultural palace, Szántay was just incredibly productive, wasn't he?
Amazingly so. We hear about the Szántay Palace at a prominent intersection, the headquarters for the Chamber of Industries, even collaborative work on the Reformed Church extension with Demeter Laszlo.
And even his own house.
His own house in Tokoli Square, now Cathedral Square. It still stands today.
That's great. Does it have a plaque?
Surprisingly, no. The source notes it lacks any commemorative plaque recognizing him as the architect.
That seems like an oversight.
It does, and his sheer output. It's just astounding. 45 residential buildings designed and built.
45.
And an incredible 97 projects listed in a 1950 directory. Only 16 apparently remain just designs.
Wow. That gives you a real sense of his impact on the city's actual fabric.
Immense. He truly shaped Arad.
Which makes reading about his later years, well, that's almost heartbreaking.
It is quite sad. After the political shifts following the Union of 1918,
things changed for him.
He seems to have become increasingly marginalized. And Arad itself, perhaps, experienced a relative decline in prominence compared to its peak years.
And architectural styles were changing too, right? Bauhaus was emerging.
Exactly. That functionalist Bauhaus style, represented in Arad by architects like Silvestru Rafaroiu, signaled a real shift away from Szántay's more ornate approach. His style fell out of favor.
The source paints a really poignant picture of that professional decline.
It does. And despite his lifetime of significant contributions, his expertise just wasn't valued by the new authorities, it seems.
And he even had trouble with his pension.
He did. He faced the, disheartening experience of having his request for a pension supplement turned down by the city engineer.
Even after getting recognition from Zurich.
Yes, even after receiving a prestigious gold diploma from the Technical University of Zurich. It's a clear sign of the changing times, maybe a lack of appreciation for past achievements.
It's a terribly sad trajectory for someone who gave so much to the city's identity.
To pass away in poverty in 1961.
With his daughter having to manage a modest burial.
Yes. Naming a street after him feels, as the source puts it, like a somewhat inadequate pale compensation.
You feel like his immense contributions warranted far greater recognition.
Indeed. It's a somber note. Now maybe we should shift focus to the other titan mentioned.
Right. Tabaković, Milan, Emil.
Another native son of Arad. Serbian heritage this time.
And also highly educated.
Oh, yes. Studied in Budapest, like Szántay, but also pursued further studies across Europe, France, Italy, Germany, showed that same commitment to broadening his architectural horizons.
And he wasn't just designing, he was also teaching.
He played a vital role, apparently, in training the next generation of architectural specialists before setting up his own practice.
His portfolio sounds extensive, too. What are some highlights?
Well, the Minorite Church, which later became the Catholic Cathedral, the Serbian Palace, various military barracks, including the cavalry barracks that's now the Pneumology Sanatorium.
So adapting buildings for new uses, too.
Yes, and several important schools and healthcare facilities, like the main building of the pediatric clinic, also the Tribune House, the Orthodox Synagogue, the Masons Lodge.
A real variety.
And the Fuldesh Pharmacy building is particularly interesting.
Why is that?
Because he didn't just design the building, he designed the interiors and even the furniture.
And it's still there.
Still in use today. It really underscores his comprehensive artistic vision, a total design approach.
What really stands out about Tabakovic's style?
His clear embrace and mastery of the secession style.
The style we mentioned earlier. Elegant flowing lines.
Exactly. That forward-looking artistic sensibility breaking away from older historical styles, often using organic lines, decorative elements from nature. The source rightly identifies him as the leading figure of this movement in Arad at the start of the 20th century.
He really brought that style to the forefront in the city.
He did. Which makes it, a noted loss for Arad when he relocated to Novi Sad after the political changes following the Union.
Like Szántay, his circumstances changed too.
Seems so. And again, while there's a commemorative plaque on his former residence and a street named after him in Aradu Nu,
It feels a bit peripheral.
you could say that. Similar to Szántay, you feel his profound impact on Arad's core architectural landscape maybe deserved more prominent central commemoration.
Okay, so those are the two main titans. But there were others making contributions too. Steiner Yosef?
Yes, mentioned as a capable successor, he specialized particularly in residential architecture.
Homes rather than grand palaces.
Right, and remodeling existing facades in that secession style, keeping it alive after Tabaković left.
Any specific examples mentioned?
The Duman House, the Rosnay House, buildings that still add a distinct charm to their neighborhoods today.
And there was one reminiscent of Gaudi.
Apparently, a house designed by Kuver Lajos on Kloška Street. It shows the diverse architectural influences swirling around Arad at the time. Steiner really picked up the secession torch, adapting its decorative flair for more intimate residential buildings.
And the Photo Reisinger Company. They were builders too.
A design and construction firm. They left their mark with important projects like the Teacher's School.
Okay, civic education.
And the industrial hall of the Marta Automobile Factory, highlighting architecture serving both civic needs and the growing industrial sector.
What about Halme Andor?
His name's connected to the former Treasury headquarters, which is now the Faculty of Economics.
Ah, another adaptation.
And also the reconstruction of the new theater after its first fire shows architects adapting and restoring existing structures as well.
And finally, Sömmerknie Rudolf Retzim.
Associated with the House of Culture for Minors and, interestingly, the now demolished UTA Stadium.
So reflecting the changing needs of the city over time, sports facilities, and youth culture.
Exactly. How architecture adapts to serve those evolving needs.
So when we look at Arad through the lens of all these architects, Sigler laying foundations, Szántay and Tabaković heating that peak era, the others contributing.
It becomes really clear that these figures, alongside their contemporaries, profoundly shaped the city's identity. Their visions, materialized in brick, stone, steel. They reflect Arad's history.
Its ups and downs, its prosperity.
Its periods of growth, the cultural aspirations of its people during that really dynamic era.
And the contrasting story of Szántay Lajos, especially his later years, that marginalization despite everything he built. It really makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. It leaves you pondering how societies choose to remember or maybe forget and honor their creative figures.
Especially those who contribute so much to the physical and cultural fabric of a place.
Indeed. But the enduring legacy of these architects, it's undeniable. Every time you navigate the streets of Arad, you're surrounded by their creations.
Each building whispering stories.
stories of a bygone era reflecting the vision of those who designed them. We really hope this deep dive has encouraged you, the listener, to maybe look at the city with fresh eyes.
And appreciate that rich architectural heritage hidden in plain sight sometimes.
Absolutely.
And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other untold stories might the buildings in your own surroundings be waiting to reveal?